Hello. I think we're on. Hello, scribes, family, brothers and sisters. It is the 28th of March, Wednesday, allegedly 2019. It's me and him, Dave and Andy. How are they doing?
Bonjour, one and all. Peace and love, blessed be.
Surprise, random hangout. We just both agreed to have, didn't we? Just to say we're free, we're about. We wanted to say hello.
Bonjour now, and peace and love. Hope all is well. Uh, Man is getting there, and hope we're all at the same level soon. That's the dog going out the back there, protecting the old fence that I have ring fenced. It's my protection. It's in the way of a Jack Russell. She alerts me to the peripheral guard line, and I should go see if I think there's anything necessary. But there you go. Forgive the background noises.
It's all good, Andy. It's family life. It's what it is. You go abroad. When I first went to see Anna Maria's, the Queen's lands, the motherland, everybody has got massive, massive acres, not acres, but a good wedge of field land. They've all got canines, dogs out there, big ones barking. And when it's comical when you go out and if you clang the gate, in the field or where you park the iron horse, stop the iron horse, and you're not careful enough. If that dog behind you hears, then you hear the ricochet for kilometers. He barks or they bark, and then the next one goes, and it's like, wow, okay, then now everybody's awake because one man in a village just clanged the gate. It's good to see. It's what we need. They look after us.
That's
We
right.
look after them. It's a good trade, it's a
Best
trade
alarm
off.
man can have. Best alarm man can have. You have companionship, love, um, devotion, and lets you know when anyone's around the peripherals. So it's just it's a beautiful thing man has with his dog.
How are you anyway? How's the doing?
Well, I've recuperated, I've rejuvenated, I've caught up with my energies. I've been spread thin the last week. Every man and their dog that's flown from every corner of the plane that came to see me. God bless them. They they came to get remedy and restitution and answers and love and all more besides. And I've endeavoured to do exactly that. Give them a little bit of the Sovereign Smith belief, so they can have relief with their new leaf and see how go on. It was overwhelming, to be honest, brother. It was absolutely overwhelming. People coming to speak to me and things from stateside, having never met them before, but they know who I am. They recognise my vocals. They know the voice. They said it's very distinctive, and it's quite overwhelming, mate.
Yes, I do know, and I'm happy and ecstatic and proud of many things to see Brother Wordsmith taking on seminars, presentations, off the cuff, torrents of questions, legal, juxtapositions of lawful citizens. It's quite an energy. You get a vibe, don't you? And then when you walk away from something like that after one day, when we've done it in Birmingham or after the weekend where we had the annual conference in Oxford, you come away charged. And 5 days, 6 days plus doing that, it does a great many things for the mind, for the man. It's a good two-way exchange. I was overwhelmed. We're just being there with you for the Tuesday and leaving Wednesday, and more was still coming. So I haven't had a chance with Anna Maria and the move, so helping the move. So we'll catch up with that. But I'm interested to see feedback, comments, input from the scribes if they've seen and watched and been in the room, had a chat. Did you see any? Um, ah, you won't have seen, will you? Because you're on the presentation, so you won't have seen who's on and chatting. So it'll be a surprise for you as well to get feedback. And incredible is a word. We struggle to get 20 men of England to come 20 miles, and then when man does that and recognizes, it's quite a shock more than anything as well, because they don't need convincing. They're already believing and they just want in a remedy, which is quite a weight to have on your shoulders when you've got a room full of international brothers and sisters that say, you've got the answer. What is it? Gosh, boom. Yeah.
Well, as you witnessed, I was just myself. I can't be anything more. I can't give anything more than just me and my own
Yeah,
belief and my own inner standing of the realm, and that's all we've done. But nonetheless, it saps your energy. It drains you when you give each individual, your love and your compassion and your time in an in-depth detail. You pour it to them, don't you? And it does sap your energy. It is what it is. I do need a holiday. I do need a break to get over it.
yeah, know that feeling.
So there you go. And then we moved your house in between. You were busy boy packing up and whatnot like that. I'll come and meet you on the weekend, done a few things, and it's up and down, up and down. So yeah, we've done the miles, we've done the time, we've done the substance over the form.
Yes,
Boyaka.
yeah, respect. Yeah, I've done some miles and broke out, expanded, made some excellent contacts,
Yes, I
friends.
have. I have many emails, many contact numbers, many envelopes was passed to me. Some contain fiscal in them. You know that I'm much loved and received and wanted, and it's overwhelming. It really is perplexing just through my own humble thoughts and beliefs of the realm of through learning through my Bible and these other said books. What is and what shall be. I'm just grateful and honoured, and that it is how it's coming. We deserve it. I deserve it. You deserve it. Mankind, brethren, kindred spirit. We all deserve it.
We do. That's why we do it. It's the blood, the Children's Crusade. Immediately, Fathers for Justice. I've had experience, High Court judiciary, doing battle for access rights. Fundamentally, the reason is the lineage, the blood. The AI, the 5G, and the quantum that's coming in. The protection of assets to us is fundamentally the key here. Not a pot of gold, not the CQV, not equity cards, although they're in the peripheral field. It's the bottom line. I heard him say for the opening speech field that it was about why are we doing law. You might think, why have I travelled all these hundred thousands of miles to sit here to hear about the biblical, examination of law and relationships that we have? And he said, it children, the assets, and we're going to learn how to value them, how to protect them. Once we've done that, then we can look at other things. And I thought, yes, that's it. That was a brilliant, honest, honourable, emotional thing for him to outlay. And then off it went introductions, and it reminded me of, and I'm sorry to put it like this, but into like a battle where you've got an army here of the ones that have come to see and take part, and then you've got the defence line here, and these lot want to maraud forward and push through the defence and get to where you are, and you've got to keep them back and slowly control them and filter them, if you like, cattle them into a grid and feed them through, and when they're ready, they can start coming over. But at the minute, they want to all rush and like stampede from public to private without fully understanding, where it's easier, but just grasping the concept of the each action has a reaction, as we know from John Harris and the days forward of. A lot of mistakes have been made, a lot of sacrifices, honourable, but we went wrong. We made mistakes. We said the wrong words. We used the wrong colour ink. It's just like, wow, they came with it, and it was really an incredible thing for me as well, but for you for all them days, and for you to be put there and for you to have all that recognition. I know what it does. So, who have we got in the room? There's 18 watching here. I'll see if there's any comments for you. Can you see the chat, Andy?
No, I can't, brother. I'm on Hangout on my phone now, and I can't see the other one at the same time. I got back from there. I got back from there on Sunday, and I wasn't sure if they were going to be doing the Able Danger because we do it on Mondays and Thursdays, and I wasn't sure if they were going stateside or if they were going back to, wherever they reside in England. So I'm just talking to my offspring there. She's forgotten to go to an appointment. Yeah, so I wasn't sure if we was going to be broadcasting on the Able Danger this Monday gone. So it's normally from 7 o'clock that I sit there, Mondays and Thursdays, 7 till around 9. So this Monday just gone, I've sat down about I don't know, say 6 o'clock-ish. And I thought to myself, you know, I'm just going to write a few words on paper and I'm going to read them out tonight and what Langolan meant to me, you know, what it's done for me as
Yeah.
a man, as an individual man and what I got from it. So I've got these few words that I wrote down. I may well read them out in a little while if you wish, but I should be on there tonight. So I've wrote it's almost like a little poem, if you will. But it's just what I got back from Langolan, the love, the respect, you know, everything that come with it. It was just a beautiful time, and this is just my respects and my love back to those that showed it to me, with me being a complete stranger and you know meeting me for the first time. They've only ever heard my words and my voice and my wisdom and my heart resonance on the radio waves, and to meet me in persona, I think they was all shocked.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 men, woo man, come to me and said, "You look nothing like I expected you." Uh,
Yeah.
you know, the persona doesn't match the knowledge. I'm like, well, that you know, you can't always judge a book by the cover, and I suppose I'm a perfect example of that. And it comes to all of us. So, my love from Langolin. Shall I quickly read it out? So it's 4 or 5 lines. My love from Langolin. To love a man is to fill their magic, pains and pleasures, with all due diligence, with equal measures. To love a man is both up, down, in and out, for man's love is within, so shall never be without. To love a man is natural and true, for that which is in me resides equally in you, in our image and all that we do. To love a man is all we've got to make the best of the entire job lot. At this epoch, this notion is all but forgot. I wish to say thanks for all that you do, for my passion and love I see in you. As I write these few words with real tears of love and joy, now I truly know my Nan's meaning of her words when she says, Andy, you are a lucky boy.
Uh,
And there you go. God bless everybody. Peace and love. And that's just a few words that I wrote down. It's what I get back from it. It's what they've given to me. And it's how they've made me feel. So I just thought I'd put it onto paper. And there you go. It took me 10 minutes just to put that week into context for myself.
That's beautiful from the heart. The intent, honour, involves personal elements there. The interaction. That paints a nice picture. Do them words? As I say, the picture is worth 1,000 words. So those words have painted a nice picture. You know, opposite way, but
Boom.
preparation. Yes, maybe you'll be going stateside and going over that way soon and getting we're seeing you on a ranch there on a soapbox, maybe cattle ranching, getting the cattle in, sorting them out, turning them into real live boys, men,
What
women,
is? Yeah. But
not
there you
animals.
go. So then what's the agenda then, brother? What we got to speak of then?
I've had a little ticket issued, as you know, for being in a restricted area during prescribed hours. So I've done a little documentary on the proposed administration of that. So we have effectively discharged private parking charge notifications, penalty charge notifications in Sovereign Paralegals on Facebook. We have the ability to provide remedy for civil infractions, claims made. And I want to do a documentary on those that say we return it, no contract, no consent. Now, I am with you, Andy. I came from, yes, that's the one. Good in the grey. I came from the free man movement. I don't mind admitting it. Article 50, 61. It said 51. It's bloody Brexit's coming in now, triggering. But I
Article
don't claim.
99, exactly. What a load of shite. Anyway, did that come out? That's my Tourette's, do forgive me.
Don't let me say that, but we came from an environment where man was of the opinion, including from Roger Taylor, the big man from Facebook, commonly known as, helping and guiding me back in the 2016, 2017 on about consent requirement, contract law, meeting of the minds. All of this we went through. Conditional acceptance, proof of claim, proof of authority. It all stands good. In principle, no contract, no consent, as I showed with the video of Theresa May on YouTube saying in England, we're policed by consent, and we're governed by consent, the acceptance of the consent. So we know fundamentally, as we do common law, that exists and that is well and good. But in the Club of Rome, they have the boys running the club that seem to somehow miss the crucial fundamental elements of law, as Theresa May points out, and everybody else. And so back to the point is that we have an element of our family that are out there that tell me that no contract, no consent is the only way forward. And both you and I know, coming from the backgrounds that we come from, that in some respects, and if you haven't got anything to lose, any property, any blood, assets, nothing, and you're quite humble and you've got not much of an estate, a personal estate, residual, then you can play these games, you've got nothing to lose. But others that have families and vans for commercial, private assets, acquisitions of sorts in a private way, they have a lot to lose. And if they keep quiet, as both you and I know, the rulings of the law, the maxims are that when a controversy is created, it has to be dealt with. And if you ignore it, ignorance is deemed, it isn't, but it's deemed as, isn't it, in their eyes, as consent. Ignorance is no defense.
Yeah. Acquiescence, tolerance is acquiescence, yeah, consent.
Acquiescence to it. So we have to make a representation in some way. So we have effectively dealt with these, and I want to make a video documentary regarding civil infractions and how we've previously dealt with them. We've explained, and to go forward and to go to the local arm of the government and say, your officers give me this. It's an adhesion. We've talked about adhesion contracts and torts and tactics.
Stick it to you, baby. Don't let them stick it to you.
Where did we all see it? It was stuck using glue to the windshield of the private, Iron Horse here. So it is in a contract that's operated in the public by a private entity, organisation, and listed for, dissolved in bankruptcy, operating on our behalf, charging us for using our land. So we have to recognise all of these positions and the previous ways. I would like to read something from the construction of last night, and these are only a few words, but they're very powerful. And I don't think we have never elaborated on this particular sentence. I am here by special appearance in a non-representative capacity. Now, when we say we're in a non-representative capacity, are you the agent? Are you the grantor, beneficiary, trustee, with seaman, with many positions here in our capacity? But if you go to the judicial realm and you say, I'm here by special appearance, you are in a representative capacity to that entity, we'll call it, the name. If you say you're in a non-representative capacity to challenge the authority and jurisdiction of the claimant, and it's regarding the state agency. So when we go to court and we have the summons, it's not the name of the man, because we don't have a name, we have a calling. It's the trust account or the entity that's created. So it's regarding the state agency that I operate, and I'm a registered agent for the services and process, like you've said, the performance and fees that we charge for going in and doing the business and answering to that. So that's who I am and what Mr. David or Mr. Sovereign Smith is. It's a state agency that we operate as a registered agent, because when our informants, bless them, mum and dad, go to the GRO, the event, this is when we get registered as an agent for the services and processes of this entity. We are now talking you through the implementation of the instrument. And as Andy has previously mentioned, I do hope he's still here, for conveyance and discharge. It's a method of conveyance, like an automobile is a method of conveyance. We're all trading in insolvency, and the commercial realm is bankrupt. The waters that we sail on the seas of commerce to have commercial intercourse, we've got that, and we know how that commerce and trade exists. We are not sovereign if we are in a representative capacity. Okay, I can't claim to be a child of the Creator, children of men, men of the realm, children of the Creator, and be in a representative capacity, because that wouldn't be sovereign, you know, where we are to use common law. And as Steve McRae has said previously, the legals, you have to know your legals. That echoes through my mind all the time. And I didn't know what Steve meant at first, because I wanted to stay away from the legals. The legals are bad. The legals are dangerous. The legals are deceptive. We are to use common law levels first, at the at law level, and then we will call for equity if we need to at the end of it, because the first in time will be the first in line, and equity abhors a forfeiture. So where we say no contract, no consent, I personally think that's foolhardy, and I'm going to prove it via this documentary evidence that we're providing through the, you know, presentation of the p.c.n, from the deliverance, the, you know, the fixture of the contract in public to the remedy at the end of it, which we've already got several times, but I'm choosing it to do a different way to get some publicity on this, because it's a big issue. So no contract. Birth certificate is an entity. We can prove that. It is, you know, it's created and it's assembled, incorporated on the registration date, not the date of birth. You know, the date, the born date, and the date of birth. The date of birth for the corporation is on the registration day when the informants go to the registrar's office. So my born date will be the May month, Taurus, and the day is 9. So my entity's birthday, Mr., is my person's registration day. It's not the born day, you know. But Andy and I have commented before on Hangouts that if you are to be asked when is your date of birth, instead of giving the day that you was delivered from the waters of your mother, give them the date that it was given the informant, you know, the registration date is the date of birth. Do you remember, Andy, when we talked about that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because that's when it's birthed. So the informants, your mum and dad, our parents, leave the office with a legal title, yeah, because they've gone from owners, creation of the seed of the asset, to being legally entitled. The titles have changed for ownership there. It's a you are a legal entity to be an agent, a pair that rents. You coined that at the seminar. You said parents, pair, and they all went. When they realised, I heard them think about pair that rents and putting them two words together, and seeing how you're putting that down. So kudos to you for bringing that little you know, coinage back up again, the parents, and how that reads. Yeah, so they rent the entity until such a time as the establishment deems fit, or until the entity is of legal liability age, which would be 18 or 21. The child, now adulterer, is fooled into thinking they are the legal entity. So with all that said, you know, special appearance in a non-representative capacity has not been said a lot on YouTube before. I've missed it out. It's something that is crucial to mention, and we are always there to challenge the authority and jurisdiction of anybody that is there. That is predominantly how we set the standing capacity and not get running away with things. So we know that the council are like stock holding company that manage the land on behalf of the beneficiaries. We are in a trustee position. We're not actually in the true beneficiary position. So how can we be charged for using our own land from the ones that are put there to manage it for us on our behalf? We have the remedy with regards to, you know, appointing them and managing it, and then conditionally accepting it and discharging it. The worst case scenario would be to pay this £70 charge under duress and then put in a claim for damages. So I'm going to show you that we're going to fight it all the way, and we're going to change the relationships. And I will instruct, like I mentioned in the video, that the iron horse is protected in a last will and testament. I made a mistake. I was thinking on the cuff. It is in the last will and testament, but what I didn't mention is that when I purchased that with the credit notes, the man that sold it me filled in a little yellow slip, everybody, called a V5 registration logbook, which makes me the legal, you know, the legal owner of it rather than being the owner of it. So he's filled that yellow slip in and he sent it away. The V5 come back, my legal person's name. I didn't have any consent in that. I had to do it to buy the property. I was taking out the picture. So My legal person was put onto that V5. It arrived at the given address. So, as according to the driver vehicle licensing agency on their system, that man, on my behalf, gave away my allodial ownership of it and put me into the legal trustee title position as he sent that off. I'm aware of what happened, and I thought I need to correct this later down the line in law. So what I did, similar to what you did and you're aware of, is I did a bill of sale from me. So I hold the receipts now. In law, I've got the bill of sale from the transaction with the man, okay, from the sale. So I hold that in law, and I've got that affixed to the bill of sale that I wrote out with Anne-Marie for £550. The transaction was done, trade in private by the bill of sale owner of the property, even though I've got legal title according to the agents over at the DVLA. Now, as you know, that document proves ownership in law, and the Queen, Anna, is the title owner and has the deed to that item, and it's put in as residual property into a last will and testament as well. So the DVLA need notifying that they are going to be the trustee. I am the beneficiary because I'm not the owner. I'm just driving and traveling, never commercially. So it's traveling, no driving. And I will let them know that it's not commercial, it's private, just for the benefit of YouTube. And I will show you in the next 2 weeks how this goes and to discharge it effectively. I have more to add to this, but I just want to see if you've got any input and take a breath.
That's it, to effectively discharge and ultimately dispel any of those words that are coming towards you.
Yeah. Get your phone. The phone's outside because I'm on the wireless. We haven't got Wi-Fi in here yet, so it's on data.
Okay.
Let me just check something. I've got more. Right, so I need to read you something again, but I'm going to bring it near the window. This is important. I've done a re-edit on what I've just read you as well. Listen to this one. I'm here by special appearance in a non-representative capacity to challenge the authority and jurisdiction of the claimant regarding the state agency that I operate as a registered agent for service and process. I require all common law remedies to be available. That's a nice thing to say to a justice of the peace, isn't it? Lets him know who, what, why, where, and when. We, that's the parties, me and David and Jeremita, creditor and debtor, we are to implement the instrument for the conveyance and discharge here today. I am the owner of the registered keeper. I would like to inform you, Staffordshire agents, that I wasn't the driver at the time of the issue of notice. So therefore, I will put the notice. Chrissy Morris came out with this some years ago, and we don't mind mentioning and giving big ups and technologies and way we go. I will offer them a £10, £10 fee to give them the name of the alleged driver at the time. They will refuse to pay that £10 fee. I will admit that I own that, I'm the owner of the V5 registered keeper. I own that name. It's not my name, but I'm authorized to use it. And for furthermore, I have for you evidence of, now this is the crux, yeah? When we claim something, everybody, we need to prove it. So when we're there and we say that I am the owner, when you've got the certificate and you can say this document now, creditor debtor certificate, I've laminated it this time, I'm not losing him. This proves the actual what? It proves that the entity exists, and it proves that I am the owner of it because it's authorised by the Crown of London and I have it. So that's your backup for what I'm saying. I own the V5 registered. I'm the owner of the V5 registered keeper. There are many entities, and the driving licence is something that you've applied for and you are licensed to use. You don't need it under your right of common law to travel. So only fools rush in, and there's been millions of remedies put before us to use to get out of this. And luckily for us, it turns out that if we write to the Secretary of State, Famalan, and we say to the Secretary of State that we actually would like to resign from the office. Now, in previous videos, I have brought to you that when scandals go off, such as Grenfell, Northern Rock, financial, big scandals. What was it, Carillion, and now there's something Uniserve or Interserve. They're all going bust and crumbling. When they get brought to the forefront, and the principals and the executives, what happens? They step out of office, and no criminal charges are laid, but you'll get pulled up in the magistrates on a criminal charge for failure to something, provide, and they go criminal on you. It's like, but these are criminal, and they step out of office and they avoid everything: fines, fees, forfeits, equity abhors. But they don't even deal in equity. They don't get anywhere near a court. So Tony Blair would be a prime example for war crimes, and he's not been near a court. So why is this? You look at this and you see they step out of office and they resign. The system protects them. So what we can do, my last little bit, and this is all going to be updated into the key competence documentation and exposed via documentary evidence over the next few weeks. We can inform the Secretary of State, tube scribers, please let me know who you think that would be. He would be an executive there of the current government, and he would be classed as our principal. Now, if we use our instrumentation and it's not recognised and it's not honoured and it's not delivered, then we would have to write to the principal, which would be the Secretary of State, and say, hey, we're doing everything right. We've got all this stuff going off. I'm working in an office for 41 years and I've never been paid. What the, that's really bad. That could be slavery. Yeah, I want out of this office now, Andy, and I'd like to go for the Secretary of State, and I'm going to write to him with a man called Ben in Oxford that I've brought to you, who's having some crap with magistrates who we might be interviewing this weekend exclusively about the fraud there and deception. It's non-de jure. We are de jure. These are non-de jure ways. So, Secretary of State, I'd now like to bring to your attention that I resign immediately, but careful now, from the office for the processes and services, because I'm providing a process and a service as well, and I'm not happy with it, and it's not getting me anywhere. I'm losing property. I haven't been paid. So next thing is Secretary of State and the principal above him. This has all just come randomly. I'm sorry about this, but it needs doing. Everything happens for a reason. I'm going to resign, and that should then ergo then you let the Attorney General know, who manages the court, about your special appearances and who owns who, and then you start letting others know in your state, if you're in America, where you was born, where your entity was assembled, incorporated, yes, because this is a partnership and it's evidence of. So we call it many things, yes, but one thing it is a way out. And if the Secretary of State, I believe, is responsible for this, I need to confirm it. I'm going to look at resigning from the office for those services and processes forthwith. I'm going to want paying for my work that I've been doing up to now. And then we're going to look at, that's your remedy, in effect, for certain little, not the claiming of the estate, but that's some kind of little remedy there for your civil infractions and claims. Then we want the payment up until now for what we've done. And then we want, what do we call it? Cure. You've cured it, apply that and cure it. And then we need maintenance going forward for equitable relief, do we not? So there'll be a payment, there's got to be. And we were right close to go knock on the doors of Chancery and have it out. But I think first there's a few tactical moves we can do and then take all of that to the courts of Chancery for what? For your equitable relief for going forward forever. So there's like a, and then you've got the Vatican. I didn't even think about what to say to that, man, and how to say it. But that does need doing at some point. The bare bones are as of that.
Dear Mr. Vatican man, I don't believe your lies. Please bring forth the truth with evidential fact. Prove yourself to me that you own me. Thank you.
Hooded man. Fish man. Yes. So that's massive. That's heavyweight in itself. Andy and his review. Me and the infraction upon the entity and driver for parking, stopping because a boat is parked and arrested. Man traveling private, we can stop. This is the language that we're at. So we've got a lot of massive things going off, but there is a remedy here, and we've applied it before with councils. You ask them for a fee to provide the driver's name, as the telephone call that I provided you in video number 3 before this remedy video was put on. If you just got onto this video, you need to watch the other 3 before this. the lady said that it's a documentary. This is what we're going to do. We have to bring it. The revolution will not be televised. It will be just for those that can hear and see it in the special places. That remedy there will be they write to the registered keeper, but I've handed the ticket in on the desk, so I'll be interested to know how they deal with that. I've taken a photo of it and I have the reference, so I will email them, which is recorded. I won't be ringing anybody up and wasting my voice and time, and I'll be emailing the inquiry line for the parking services, and I will be offering the contract to them as I've outlined to you here. I'll be putting all of this out, and I'm writing for myself and Ben, possibly others. I'll put it on the .com for a download. The document to the Secretary of State for resigning of the office for process and services regarding the state entity that I currently manage and own of Mr. David Jeremy to the person. So you can also look at, furthermore, while you're at the Secretary of State, when you've resigned from office, get him to just be careful. Don't just go on my every word. Check this out. This is not legal advice. This is entertainment and fun for those that are in the army. You ask him, you wish and require him, them, she, to authenticate the certificate so it can be used for trade in a sovereign nation. There are a few sovereign nations that you can look at trading with: private trade, private commerce, public, seaman, trustee, all these different positions that we have here. So yeah, this is all to come out in the next few months. What you're saying, Tube, I'll go to the comments. I might say hello to the scribers. Are you still here, Andy?
Yep.
Are you in the house? It's a big day today.
I'm just having a quick look through the YouTube comments there when you're talking. So catching up, they're busy. The fans are busy chatting in there, having their own conversations. Andy Ward and whatnot, obviously back from Wales himself now, follows all around the country, bless him. Love and respect to you, brother. And there with his new mate Cush, they're all met up in Wales, all from a local area. So they're coming together, shoulder to shoulder. No one's in no one's shadow. No one stands in front of another.
Equality is paramount. All men are created equal. We just need a chance. You've taken your chance. From the phone call to the hangouts, to the Facebook, to the seminars, to everything that we've done. And you're ready to fly. Nobody stands behind me. I'm not the main man. Andy's not the main man. We're all the main mans, aren't we? This is what the message is. We're all there. Comments-wise, did you see them posts in your post, John? No, I haven't yet. I've been too waylaid. It will be done. Patience is a virtue. Thank you, brother. Jonesy, I'm not of any fixed abode at the minute, so I don't live anywhere. If you want to know, it's in my body where I live. This is Anne-Marie's pad. I'm in between gaffs at the minute. Secret location from Andrew. Funksters trying to get paperwork in order. Aren't we all? Vendetta, Andrew, see them. Jonesy.
So it seems that Andrew Warden there is doing some arrangements for my given born day this coming Saturday. So I think they will be around my presence at that time as gifts so we can be together. So bless his heart. Yes, that's what I want. Another year older in 2 days. I don't feel it. I may look it, but it is what it is. I think those around me are more excited than I. It's not something that I ever celebrate as a rule. So it is what it is.
It's 13-11, 3 1s and a 3. Look at that. As you're talking about that, we'll have a tube party for you on the 30th.
It is that 303. That's my number.
Saturday, yeah. So we'll see if we can incorporate a bit of a celebration, whatever. And if Sovereign B makes it up, we'll see. Or if we meet up, that would be good to have a little chat interview. The crux of the matter is there was a hearing allocated for the entity, we'll call it, previously known as a trust name, the state name, and say the hearing was on a Monday. The letter, which is the summons, was received on a Tuesday. So we talked about this on the phone. We've rang up the courts today. I was a party to the call in the background. We spoke to the court manager, asked to speak to the court manager, left a message, let them know that they've had relevant bundles and paperwork signed, special delivery, non-domestic post, deliveries acceptance, misfeasance of office, not following due process, civil procedure rules, infractions, no rights there, respected, rights to face your audience, rights to face your accuser, lots of things going off in the mix. So I think we're going to highlight the miscarriages of justice that are done by the arbitrary, non de jure, de facto private corporations that we currently recognise as courts.
De facto, or otherwise known as ab initio. That's how it comes around. So, yes, we are de jure, we are for and on the record. If it isn't for and on the record, it is what it is. It's de facto or administrative. It's not for man. If there's not a man accusing you, then it's administrative rules and acts and statutes and all those things for persons. You're a rule breaker. You're not a criminal. It's a politics.
In Coventry. Sorry, no, not a rule breaker in Coventry, but he's saying it's going off in Coventry then. All right. And can Dave and Kevin come? I don't know. I might be in Oxford or I don't know what we're doing here, but.
It's because they are currently residing within Coventry, I do believe. So if they wish to put that out there on Tube, good on them. That's where they're at.
Yeah, they are. It's been done. Sovereigns in Coventry, it looks like tomorrow. Wow, you've just told the state, MI5, GCHQ. Wow, might have to move that.
Anyway.
We'll see, Andy. We'll see. That's to Andy of the Warden family. Jones is saying, can't wait till tomorrow when we leave the EU. Well, it's been postponed, I believe, for 2 weeks.
We ain't leaving no EU, mate. We are becoming the United States of Europe. The EU rule will be here. It's taking out the common law jurisdiction. That's why it's imperative that man moves forward with his trusts and equitable remedies forthwith. But there you go.
Notice of intent, understanding, and claim of right. Who do you send this to? I'm not sure. Well, now you've said that, and what I've said with the Secretary of State, we could look at the notice of intent, claim of right for your mineral and your energy resources. Yes, that's right. So the mineral and energy resources for your equitable relief, what these corporations are pillaging and using, and selling back to us when it's ours to begin with. So you would send that to the. There's a government at hand at the minute, which we call a government loosely, which is operating under an executive branch of another government. So you have a government and then a different government in my eyes. This is a private corporation masquerading as a government of another part, which is like the Russian dolls again. And we could put a case together for John Doe lowercase versus John Doe big case and say that, we have an issue with the system and the entity not performing, and we could take that to the high courts if so, in essence, in reality, if you took this claim articulately enough, you would let the relevant secretaries and generals, as I said, it's important you follow that, but I haven't done it, so I don't know. What I'm telling you is there's been a lot of stuff put out there for the ones that are desperate and foolish and chasing a pot of gold to go and do. And once you've done it, you can't undo it. And once you get these instruments and you do it wrong, or you rescind and break, and as I've said, you need to be careful when you're resigning from places because you might make a mistake. And these shills and trolls and agents are put there with these other avenues to fool us, to bring us out. So we can't afford to make that mistake. So I've got a loose, it is to certain generals and officers and Vatican, and ultimately there is a court in America, there's a court in, let me think, High Court in Australia, and we've got the English one, and that's in the secondary publication or the third publication, I think, on the key competence on the .com. So Funkstar Dazzy B, we need to get you some of these documents. Anybody that's got them can pass them to him, or if you're on a .com, download them, or I'll pass them to you in due course. Andy, if you've got anything you can advise on, then speak up, my man. Inform.
Yeah, there's plenty I could, mate, but this isn't the realm or the platform to do.
Yeah.
So, yes, it has to be done in the private.
That's it. That's why we have the .com, and we recognise the responsibilities, duties, and obligations that we have. But we also recognise the private is where the protection is. PR and PR, private protection. The public is where the danger is.
Yes. So it is quite a chapter for you. I'll just pull it out. While you're speaking of those things, it's Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1. Therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness and long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavouring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. O Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all. There you go. It's above all and in you all, you know. You can overstand a corporation. You can spaketh the biblical text and overstand anything that is coming to you, because we are not there to understand another language. We are not there to listen to another man's evils or lies. You know, we are not to transgress to that side and spaketh them things. So it's all clearly here in the book if you know where to look. Back to you, brother.
Yeah, I've got a publication that come recommended similar to these words. I've been skimming through it. Oh wow, antiquities of the Jews and yeah, the positions, and I don't know what you guys think of these things, but that what you just said there is you remember when we was on a hangout and you put towards you read out a chapter and a verse, and it was comparable to not taking the name and standing up in court. There's a deception in that book. It's the world's greatest story, and it is but a story to me. I'm not telling anybody else what to think. There are codes and messages in there, and it's very, very interesting. The divinity. Every 5,125 years, typically, a civilization is to end, and a rebirth and a regeneration begins. You can research this yourselves. The 5,125 years, fam, was up in 2012, the end of the Malayan calendar. We have had the full run of our civilization. Other civilizations have made it to places previous to us, allegedly by the artifacts and the depictions of sitting down, but yet flying. Egyptians have got wings out like this, sitting down on a disc, flying on a winged serpent. How do you sit down and fly with your luggage on your back, like the symbols that we're seeing? So they've got air, they've got into the air, they've flown, as we've seen in the paintings and the evidence. They've gone through portals in the sun and transgressed to the next stage. It seems that we're being kept down here, kept weighted down here. We've got the winged serpent. We've got allegedly NASA. We know where they came from, and the telescopes and the millions of planets out there. We're not looking at the sun. We're not looking at the realm. We're not looking at ourselves. We're not looking at our language. We're looking, like you say, Andy, we're going elsewhere to find what's within. You know, if you need to go elsewhere to find what's in front of you and what should be put out there, you know, there's reason to say that, you know, a doorman in a club is classed as a trustee, because the club owner employs that doorman not to let the idiots in with weapons or drugs or anything, you know. So he's doing his job as a doorman, he's operating as a trustee. Now the manager of that club to the shareholders is acting as a trustee to the shareholders. You know, the trustees in all positions of life, and we are to take that position and give it others. We seldom would take the position of the trustee now, because that isn't us. There's a system there for us to use and notify, and our principal is above us. We would notify them to sort this out now. And the no contract and no consent is right, because it says in the Bible, We are contracted under a covenant. We cannot accept and go in and do that. I am not sovereign while I am in a representatory capacity for a crown-owned name. I am in a sovereign, non-representative capacity, hereby special appearance to challenge the jurisdiction and authority of said claimant. And this is how we are going to present and document this. As for Ben popping up, Sovereign B, that's all I can call him. And what's happening here, it's just incredible. And Andy, if you've got any more, let's hear it.
It's from the book of Luke. For I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? He said unto him, What is written in the law? How readest thou? And he answering said, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbour as thyself. And he said unto him, Thou hast answered right. This do, and thou shalt live. So there you go. You see, it's the difference between being dead and being alive, being a dead person and being a live man. And if you can stand up and be righteous and all that which you spaketh, and you can stand over what this is telling you, then your boy is going to get a remedy. It's as simple as that.
I've got two videos from a news channel. It's open source. I'm posting the link, Andy, into the chat room. It's proof and evidence of banking industry. It's Professor Werner, and he explains how the banking system and financial sector really works. So those that are in the chat room, here's a little reward number one for you. This is called Substance Over 4. And then I'm going to get you the other video that's 15 minutes long for you to peruse, have a look at. This one's had quite a lot of views. It's key competence to, like Andy's saying there, about being dead and being alive, and getting confused with whom we are or whom we aren't, and what our duties and obligations are. Well, we was given duties. Our only commandment, I believe, we were given was go forth and multiply, populate. Was it go forth and populate? And the 10 Commandments, and that's our job, as far as I'm concerned.
Multiply.
Yeah.
Yeah, multiply.
Populate, multiply. So these two, the next video, the finance curse. Professor confirms the promissory note in loans. You've got a financial expert, okay, because we're sick of repeating this, and we know we don't get believed. And the ones out there that need to see it from an institution like a news channel, and Andy in his biblical, I'm now giving you what we're saying in comparative terms from the legal realm. Andy's talking from the, many realms, the realm of.
Andy speaks from the realm of man. That's where I spaketh from, brother. It comes from many a text, and it comes from that which can be stood on. It's there clearly written. The fact of the matter is there. This isn't something that I've made up. It's something that was of the earth before me. The remedy was here before I was born. And that's why man is born unto the land for remedy and the benefit of his person. And it just so happens that once I'd finished being indoctrinated and all those thoughts and beliefs instilled into me, I've had a lucky break and been able to re-educate myself and find the real truths and how this whole chess game of the Matrix is actually played. And I've come down to the pure fact that we don't need every single piece on the board. We don't need every single ruling. We don't need every single everything. What I've brought this back down to is we can kick their asses with a pawn. And I'm just that little pawn on that big old board. And this little pawn can kick ass the same as the next one. And it's the best way to do them, because that's where the power is. And it's all in the words.
It is. I'm much loving it and respectful of them words. I have some more words here about if there was a civil issue going off, yeah, and you enter a not guilty plea. I would like to I'll put this up on a post on the .com yesterday in response to a user's interaction. We're not an advisory service. We can't give legal advice. We don't give legal advice. We wouldn't want to. We are in law. We are private, and we are informants. We inform you and duly inform you. We're not offering a service. We do consultations in private and consult. That's where we think the future lies in all of this, other than interactive videos, webinars, seminars, and this. So. Civil issue, claim, we've said not to enter a plea, never to enter a plea. And in this game, a lot changes. This is called continuous improvement. If we said one thing, if 5 years ago and stuck to that this day and age, we wouldn't be moving, we wouldn't be evolving. So where some of you will say, but you said this before. Well, this is because we learn and we grow and we flex and we bend and we continuously improve. And we've got an agreement with you to be honest and upfront. So if you enter a not guilty plea, bearing in mind what I've just said before and how we've stood, this apparently looks like, I'm sure, given to the CPR, triggers full disclosure of all said evidence. Okay, so bear that in mind. As they have to provide full disclosure, this will then tell you if the claimant, CPS, whoever, have actual evidence of a driver or just a picture of the automobile, vehicle, or the officer's statement, camera footage. Now, this is all from when we went to Oxford Magistrates and I was with the brother Thomas. And we've got some notes here that I've then reapplied to the .com because we changed our stance about quite a lot of stuff. You got documents and videos from 2 years ago. They're probably out of date now. That's because me and Andy, Kevin, Josh, everything that's happening, it's happening fast. Time is going very fast and we're advancing very fast. So if you don't receive any evidence ever or paperwork, then a case can be discharged for failing to disclose as a breach of due process. So do you see where we're coming from? This is Steve McRae again. The legals. You've got to know your legals. Going in, adversarial, aggressive, on a standoff with no international treaty and and the living man and not pleading and being sovereign and no consent and no contract in an admiralty environment is futile. And we will prove this to you. This is the last bit of your lesson and your actual training for what is going on out of there. So this is the reason why those that want to carry on as they are, and you generally live on Facebook, good luck to you, okay? We're not telling you to do anything. So evidence that isn't received can be used to discharge the case for failing to disclose as a breach of due process. If claimants do not disclose, and this was some time ago, and you can't remember with a clear conscience if you were traveling or driving or not. And as you have asked any other people that have access to the vehicle property, if they were driving, you've carried out due diligence and tried to assist in identifying the driver. Now, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to put the ominous back on them with what I said at the beginning of this video. Nobody, unfortunately, with a clear conscience is able to remember who left that Turan on that corner there on that said day. So although you see what we're doing here, everyone, we're using the legals and we're dancing in the legals, but we've got a rope and we're anchored on dry land as well, you see. So we need to see the evidence under the civil procedure rules, civil practice, evidence of who was driving the car, the maxim of law. He who makes the claim must provide the burden of proof. Affixing a small administration charge onto there further cements, as Chrissy Morris and others have said, £70 is what they want as a charge, 70 credits to make this better. So I might put a fee schedule performance in with that as well of 140, just so I make some as well and discharge the charges. They have nothing otherwise on you, what definition of you are they using, from what dictionary, and they want you to admit it or put someone else in the firing line, civil issue. They never have a clear picture of the driver. Well, very hardly. They are changing that. I'm noticing a front camera system, anti-glare. Let me know, Tube, if you've seen any new cameras and technology, but they very rarely have a clear picture of the driver, especially at night. They snap the number plate to see where to send a notice to with relevance to the registered keeper. So this has been used in court, all right? Testamentary here from me. And the court clerk tried to con by saying that the CPS have evidence of the driver. we asked why it hasn't been disclosed then up until this point, at the court hearing trial. And as soon as the judge walked in, this wasn't with Thomas and Oxford, by the way, the CPS requested the case to be dropped. So if you stand your ground and you are polite and you hold on to your meat and two veg and your ovaries, whichever sex you are, yeah, you played them at their own game using the legals. We didn't once question anything regarding, right, hear this, if the statute is applicable to them or anything like that, because failure to disclose and due process or the evidence doesn't prove any drivers at the time. We can keep it simple and we have a way to cut through. So one should have full disclosure given. If you enter a plea, regardless of what people say, if you don't enter one, you'll get railroaded and likely to get summary judgment. It's your choice, and this is not legal advice. This is just experience and care. See what they send you. You'll have no evidence of driving, blah, 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 just a picture of it. In this case, maybe a statement of truth has been used and no picture. You'll need to show that you attempted to confirm who was driving at the time of the alleged offence, yeah, criminal offence. It's just an offence. If you go in shouting no consent, you will get railroaded, as we call it. Play by the rules that we apparently agreed to play by when we was informed upon and given, the entity. But remember, the due process is how we, Andy, I, and others, amongst others, but the main reason on how we get them. So that's very important. I add that on whilst we took a break and went elsewhere. All right.
Very nice.
We're on it, brother. We are on this. The game for playing is over. The time for playing the game is over. We're in it to win it.
I'd just like to read this little chapter from Messiah. And it's one of my little favourite little chapters because it resonates deeply within my heart. So please have a little listen. Listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken, ye people from far. The Lord hath called me from the womb. From the bowels of my mother hath he made mention of my name. And he hath made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand hath he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver hath he hid me, and said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Then I said, I have laboured in vain, I have spent my strength for naught and in vain. Yet surely my judgment is with the Lord, and my work with my God. And now saith the Lord that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him. Though Israel be not gathered yet, shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my God shall be my strength. And he said, It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. Thus said the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom man despiseth, to him whom nation abhorreth, to a servant of rulers, kings shall see and arise. Princes also shall worship, because of the Lord that is faithful, and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee. See, I like that there. It's Isaiah chapter 49, verse 2. And he made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand he hath hid me. See, we're all hidden, you see, and many of these fam that have come to see me from across the pond, they're like, you're very that way. That it doesn't, I don't, my appearance isn't what I speaketh. So we are all hidden in that way. Our belief is within us, you know. We don't have to go to the churches. We don't have to shout it from the rooftops, but we can speak truthful. We can speak our gospel, and we can do that which is righteous and honourable. And I would just like to read the first couple of chapters, verses of chapter 51.
Words and swords is what I was going to say. Words and swords, though. He made my mouth like a sword. And we've later come on to say words are swords and swords and 45-degree angle with the writing of the. It's incredible. Continue. Yes, brother. Go on.
We're to make our words sharp. and we're to know what we say, and we're to say what we know, and to keep it simple. It's as simple as that.
I like what I say, and I say what I like.
That's it,
Sorry.
mate. Hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord, look unto the rock whence ye are hewn, and to the hole of the pit whence ye are digged. Look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you, for I called him alone, and blessed him, and increased him. For the Lord shall comfort Zion, he will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. Hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, O my nation, for a law shall proceed from me, and will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people. Did you hear that? O my nation, for a law shall proceed from me. That is God's statute. That's God's covenant. And once you are in that light, and you know what's what, you can't go back to the darkness. Man cannot be unbeknownst again. Once you
Yes.
know this stuff, it's like riding a bike. You can always ride the bike. You can always speak the verbatim. You can always pick it up and stand on it. It really is. Lift up your eyes to the heavens and look upon the earth beneath. For the heavens shall vanish away like smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment. And they that dwell therein shall die in like manna. But my salvation shall be forever, and my righteousness shall not be abolished. It's all
Boy.
here. It's all
Yes.
here. You know, there's lots. I could go on reading this whole thing. I could be here all week. There is many passages in here that are beautiful and extremely uh, defensive upon the legal realm. If you know what you're looking for and you know how to express it, what is.
Wait, can I play this game? I'm going to join in as well, Andy. You've made a believer out of me. I said that. John, chapter and what is it? Chapter and verse. Chapter 2, verse 15. New International. I'm just going to read a version. Yeah, I'm going to try to go for a KJV or something, or just this is called New International Version. So he made a whip out of cords and drove them all from the temple courts, both sheep and cattle. He scattered the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. You've got different translations, and Jesus cleans the temple in the study
See?
Bible. Cross references, though,
Can you
Matthew.
see there where
I've got,
where it says it turns over the tables?
yeah.
That's the very early Roman jurisprudence of the 12 decemvirum tables. That's where the very early rule comes from, the principalities of man, the 12 decemvirum tables.
And that saying we have, the tables are turning. Do you see? That case has no standing. Four corners, four legs, square, circle, triangle, pyramid, all linked. That bit, what you've just said, it's now we've got cross references because I know others are interested in this. So I've gone purposely gone for the cross references. You'll find Matthew chapter 21, verse 12. Then Jesus entered the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. The temple courts, yes. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those selling doves. John chapter 2, verse 14. In the temple courts, he found men selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and money changers seated at their tables. John 2:16, to those selling doves, he said, get these out of here. How dare you turn my father's house into a marketplace? And then last one is Acts chapter 27, verse 32. So the soldiers cut the ropes to the lifeboat and set it adrift. There's more to it, but interesting bankers, trespass.
It's your interpretation, it's your perception. The manuscript is there, the biblical text is there, it's how you perceive it. We all have various and different perceptions of everything. So you've got to make sure that your perception is spot on of what the inscribed is saying to you.
Yes. There's a Bible in, and lest we not forget, there's a reason why they've put a Bible in every hotel room and place of public, that they put it there for you to have a look at and a read. And it's probably the most ignored story, that's out there. It's read, but it's ignored. We specialize in going extra mile to point out things to you for your pennies to drop, for your alarm bells to start ringing.
Well, you say the extra mile. All as I'm doing is simply bringing forth how I've, seen this since I've read this and since I've realised what it really is. It's a legal construct. It's a book of faith that repels anything of transgression. It's as simple
Yeah.
as that. We reside upon a Christian landmass. It is what it is. We can't help where we're born. That's the principalities of this land. That's what we residually stick by. And so that's what we do. We get this book out and compel them to it. Nice and easy. That's how it goes. It seems to be for some a quite windy, long, boring road of boringness. But at the end of the day, the answers are in there. If you have the diligence and you have the application to apply yourself correctly with the due diligence required. It is energy sapping. It does take a lot of your time. However, it's a want and need situation. If you want to, and if you need to, you can do. If you don't need to, nor want to, hey, crack on.
Yes, I've over immersed myself in the comparative public, private, legalese, judicial realm positions, and an idiot in legalese. Um, is there any man or woman here in the court who has first-hand knowledge of the facts? The facts are important. We can be guilty of the facts and the facts alone. Let the facts speak for themselves. Have we caused any harm, injury, and loss to anybody? And if we have, what harm or loss have I caused, by the infraction of the prescribed restricted parking there? If not, then there is no standing. I do not need to hear from anybody. If no man or woman has been caused harm or loss, then there surely should be no case to answer, which is what that good book is telling you there. Is the judge familiar with habeas corpus? Because I have the right to face and question my accusers, and where are they? Quite often, nobody can bring a claim and on behalf of another, summon the man or woman who is claiming that I have caused harm or loss to. I require whomever is claiming, that I've done them wrong to come forth and verify their complaint for the record. These are just simple sentences, very powerful, and in the legal. But I've never been able to speak like that. So it's your bag, it's your bag, brother.
Can you read that? Look.
Yeah.
Can you read it close enough to my camera? It says Baal.
Yeah.
Okay. Baal. Used generally, the word Baal means possessor, inhabitant, controller. Thus, a married man is called possessor of a woman. So that's Baal. When we speak of the cabal, and they think they possess us, that they possess the inhabitants. This is all here. I picked this book up recently. It's a beautiful thing, and it's older than me, you, and most of the scribes put together. It's a very old thing, but the verbatim, the old English that's within these documents, mate, is how I spaketh, and it cannot be supposed. It cannot be assumed or presumed to mean anything else than what it is. And it's just so powerful that way around. When I speak to you in a certain way, it can't mean anything else than what I've just told you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I have conversations and individuals say, so what you mean to say, or what you're trying to say is, I'm like, no, I've just told you what I'm saying. If you don't grasp that's your problem, not mine. I have just informed you. I am trying to say, or I'm not really going about anything. What is straight through the middle,
Yeah, it cuts the mustard. And you have to have the ears to hear it, otherwise it will just be information. You need to be able to cognitively process that and put yourself into the positions of, it's simple really, but it's not simple because it isn't natural. It's not natural. It is simple, this really, but it's not natural. And that's where we fall down with the what are you Baal? Baal is similar to the bull. They have Baal, bullion, Baal, the letter A. Here we go, everybody. This is recently discovered by moi. The letter A, the capital with the line in the middle of it there, but the pyramid and then the line there. You turn it the other way, It's like two thingies at horns with the line here. So the A is upside down going that way, and the cross support section, and then they put a ball type thing, yeah, and the ball, the A alpha and the Z omega, with your A and your alpha and your omega on your hands, and the structure of those 13 and 13 to make the 26. Number A, Baal worship. The film that they put out, Wrath of the Titans or Gods of Egypt, where they have the gold bull and they put in the women and the children and they light a fire in it, man, and they're like roasting people in the golden bull, and it's like worshipping the god, the Baal, a sacrifice, and it comes in with the bull papilles, and it's just dark, mate. It's not nice. Makes me cringe. I'm just
That's right.
talking.
And that's what I was saying to these individuals when we go to these meetings and seminars and things. I could speak of all this. We could tell you what goes on behind the scene, what, where, and why, and when, endochrome and everything else that they're into. However, that doesn't bring relief and remedy, nor make it
No,
cure to man.
no.
So let's just put all that aside. We all know that they're wrong uns. We all know they're the molesters. Let's put that aside a moment. Let's get some relief and remedy, and then we'll, look at bringing them to book.
Hence this video title today with the word remedy in it, my brother. Exactly. We've had enough time to play, enough time to chat. A p.c.n is a small fry civil infraction. Forced adoption, assets, mums, dads, sons and daughters being torn apart for the legal concern, when it's law that matters, is it not? Law is the paramount here, and equality and safety. But this legal system thinks that it can safeguard and interject future possible harm. And to some extent, I agree, we do need to look after ourselves. But how we look after ourselves, that's the issue at hand. Yes, not everybody's perfect, not everybody's strong and secure. Some aren't compass mentors, most of us aren't, but when it comes to less able mentally, dementia and things, and old age and so forth and so on, like Dignitas, having to go abroad to end your life with dignity. We could do that here right now. These are the things that are important to us. That book teaches many things. It's remedy in the book translated into a few verbatim paragraphs to present in notices and serve with claims, reserved rights in the correct capacity to the 7 or 8, whatever, secretaries and generals, archbishops, courts, principals, executive branches of the de facto non de jure further up. That's how we do it. Yeah, that's remedy right there.
Boom Shanker. Just having a quick look in the old tube chat room there, but it's too much for me to go through. So
there's a lot. Yeah, we're busy. There's 20 in. I'd like to say thank you to everybody. We want to keep it quite short if we can, and get to the point. We've got a lot in here. I will just quickly skim through in case there's anybody in trouble or important, help.
We don't like to word you a scam.
Scan through, not scam. I'm going to scan through the. Are you in touch with Andy then? You got numbers or something for tomorrow, for Saturday, tomorrow? Wow, on Saturday, yeah.
In touch with Andy, for Andy Warden.
Of the Warden clan, yeah.
Andy of the Warden clan. Yes, he's local to my zip code. He's in the militant combatant areas, he's in the grid zone. So yes, I have his details, and what it is I think he's residing around this area for a little while anyway. I'm not sure, but they seem to be more excited than I. It's I'm at that midway point between 40 and 50. I don't know if I'm excited or what. So what is.
Well, I need to get off and cut this out because I didn't realise it was 10 to 2. So I'm going to go through some of the comments and questions. And one is to the runner. The SPL's colloidal silver, is it nano-sized? I'll tell you how it's made. I can't answer that question. It's made with a old phone charger that emits 2.5 amps across 5 volts that's fed into 2 4-inch long what's the thingy on it that they call it, the gauge, about 4 mil, 99.9% silver that goes into pure water, and then it's electrolysis over about 40 hours, to be fair, continuously stirring, produces that at parts per million of about 12 to 18. So as for the actual particle sizes of the silver through the electrolysis being nano-sized, I can't lie to you. I don't know. But I was told to use 3 9-volt batteries, 9, 18, 27 volts, and do that same assembly to get that current. And I know with electric impedance, DC, AC, ohms, DJ and everything, the lower the power, the longer it will take, but the smaller the particles will be. So doing it at 2.5 amps across 5 volts with those silver rods there is releasing tinier particulates. And I've been doing that for nearly a year, and no blueness on me, no issues. Others have taken it and said it's good. So that answers that, okay? I'm just going to skim more, Andy, and see if there's anything else.
Okay, if not, then I'll bid you all farewell. Good day, good rising, good afternoon, whichever part of the plane that you reside. It's all different time scales and borders, and goodness knows what, 8 hours before, 8 hours after, all this sort of thing. So,
Jonesy, I've answered that question about the Bible, Jesus then, chasing away the bankers by accident. He's actually asked a question, where is it in the Bible? He chased away the bankers, and I'm actually giving you that. So I did that in advance. Lorraine, Lazzy B seems to be a new scriber we've got here. Nikki of the Gilhurst clan as well. Hello, thank you. Peace and love. Lux, regarding your question about joining the .com, email David at splspro.com. I'll get to you over the weekend, I'm sure, and we'll look at that. That's not a problem, my love. Thank you for that. We've got ways around the PayPal issue.
And in the meantime, get yourselves on Eye of Creator.
Yes. Have you done some comments in the room? Can you say hello so they can link your channel, or I'll put it in the links later?
I'll go into the room and say bonjour now, shall I? So
yeah, and then they can link on it, yeah.
Yeah, because my phone's running out of battery, so we're going to be all right. It's all good. So I'll just put in there bonjour, thanks all.
So you've got the update from the p.c.n video 4. This has been a loose remedy. We've given you a lot of reasons for why we'd call things remedy and how we'd use instrumentations and implement the instrumentation. We've mentioned a lot of offices and positions here. You have a Secretary of State in America. I can't quote your codes and penal codes and sections and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not up to that. Others might be able to give you certain bits, but it's a last resort, okay? When they're looking at processing you and affording fines, fees, and forfeitures, and they won't recognise, or you can't enforce, or you haven't got the knowledge to do some of the things that we've said, and you choose what you want, then you can look at ultimately seeing how you would resign from the office of that entity, but only for services that we're being made to do out in here, being dragged from the private to the public under the 12 assumptions of the court. They're asking me, what are these assumptions and presumptions, you say? Well, one of them, important ones, are the 12 presumptions of the court to have a look at and see what they are, and see how you get on with that, and that's the major stumbling block, the judicial realm, the de facto.
Are you the person I seek?
These are not the sovereigns you are looking for. Bless you, brother. Let's do it. I'll call you later. I need to do one. Thank you to everybody. We've done the job there. Stand by for action and hangouts and interviews.
Peace and love, everybody. God bless. Be well, and we'll catch up soon. Buongiorno.
Yes, brother. I'll speak to you soon. We've cracked it. We've done what we came to do. And I hope you all understand who, what, why, where, and when. Thank you very much. Much love and ciao for now.